A piece of California's history is turning to ash. In the foothills of the Sierra Nevada, a fast-moving wildfire has engulfed the historic gold mining town of Chinese Camp, destroying homes and erasing landmarks that have stood for over 170 years. We'll explain how a storm of lightning strikes unleashed this devastation and what's being lost in the flames. This disaster began not with a single spark, but with thousands. On Tuesday, September 2, 2025, a massive lightning storm swept across central California. This lightning siege ignited numerous fires in the dry, drought-stressed landscape. Firefighting authorities have grouped at least 9 of these fires into what they are calling the TCU September Lightning Complex, a series of blazes burning across 3 counties, Tuolumne, Calaveras, and Stanislaus. The fire at the heart of this story, the one that struck Chinese Camp, is officially named the 6-5 fire. Fueled by strong winds and the dry vegetation left from a hot summer, it spread with terrifying speed. As of Wednesday morning, September 3rd, the 6-5 fire alone has burned over 6,400 acres. The entire lightning complex has scorched more than 12,000 acres, and most critically, there is 0% containment, meaning the threat is far from over. To understand what's at risk, we have to look back in time. Chinese Camp is not just a name on a map, it's a California historical landmark. It was founded around 1850 during the gold rush. Its first residents were Chinese miners who had been forced out of a nearby settlement. At its peak, Chinese Camp was a bustling hub with a population of up to 5,000 people. It was a headquarters for stagecoach lines and several powerful Chinese mining companies. It was also the site of a significant event in 1856, the First Tong War in California, a battle fought between 2 rival societies. Before this fire, the town was a quiet community, a collection of homes and a few precious buildings that survived from that era. These included the St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church, built in 1855, and a stone and brick post office which had been operating since 1854. Now that history is under direct assault. The 6-5 fire swept through the small community with devastating force. While official damage assessments are still underway, reports and videos from the scene paint a grim picture. At least 5 homes have been confirmed destroyed, with images showing properties along Red Hill Road and Main Street reduced to rubble. Tragically, multiple reports have now confirmed that the historic post office, a building that served the community for over 170 years, has been completely destroyed by the flames. The fate of other historic structures, like the St. Francis Xavier Church, remains uncertain. The well-known Chinese Camp store and tavern was seen still standing as the fire passed, but the full extent of any damage is unknown. The town's infrastructure has also been hit, with power lines down throughout the area. For the residents of this small, tight-knit community, the experience has been harrowing. The entire town of Chinese Camp was placed under a mandatory evacuation order, forcing everyone to flee. One resident, Selena Moyle, described the scene of destruction, saying, "It's such a quiet little place. There's really nothing left. Nothing at all." The uncertainty is agonizing for those who escaped. Richard Beal, the owner of the Chinese Camp store, was away when the fire erupted. His wife and son were ordered to evacuate the store, and like many others, he's left waiting for news, unsure of what he will find when he is allowed to return. The loss is felt not just by residents, but by those who have studied the town's past. Stephen Provost, an author who has written about Chinese Camp's history, put it this way: "When a historic building burns, it's a piece of history we lose. When a whole town like that goes, it's just devastating." Amidst the loss of property and history, there is one piece of good news. As of the latest reports, no injuries or fatalities have been reported. Firefighters are on the ground battling to save what's left. CAL FIRE is leading the response, using ground crews, bulldozers, and aircraft to fight the blaze. They were seen working to protect structures that were still standing and putting out hotspots within the town. The initial strong winds that drove the fire have reportedly calmed, but the weather remains a concern. The forecast calls for warm conditions with the possibility of more thunderstorms, which could bring unpredictable, gusty winds that could easily worsen the fire's behavior. The fire has also caused major disruptions, closing a section of Highway 120, a key route for travelers heading to Yosemite National Park. The state has recognized the severity of the situation. Governor Gavin Newsom's office announced that California has secured a fire management assistance grant from the federal government. This grant will help cover the costs of the firefighting effort. Governor Newsom stated, "We are securing all available resources to fight this growing lightning complex fire." The story of Chinese Camp is a stark reminder of how quickly a natural disaster can erase a community's present and a state's past. A storm of lightning has led to a firestorm of destruction. For the residents who have lost their homes and for a state that has lost a piece of its history, the focus now is on containing the immediate threat and then eventually facing the difficult question of what can be rebuilt from the ashes.